know the type of task I'm talking about, right? The ones where someone asks you to do something super simple like, can you send me that one document you have? Or can you reply to that email real quick? Or can you go get me some coffee on your way back from the store? We all know that these tasks take 2 minutes, but somehow we find ourselves putting them off for days. When we procrastinate on important tasks, we usually feel guilty about it. Like, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But what about those tasks that are easy but not urgent? So why do we procrastinate on them? Well, according to Dr. Timothy Pychyl, a psychology professor at the University of Toronto and the director of the Human Resource Development Center there, it's because these tasks usually don't have an obvious emotional link. And without that link, we struggle to figure out how we feel about the request. So we end up feeling confused and overwhelmed, which leads to us procrastinating. In his article, Why We Procrastinate on Easy Tasks, published in Psychology Today, Dr. Pychyl explains that when we receive a request, our first step is to evaluate whether we want to comply with it or not. If the answer is yes, then we move on to figuring out how we're going to fulfill the request. But if we aren't sure if we want to comply, we start to feel uneasy and uncomfortable, and instead of feeling that way, we escape into other tasks that make us feel better, like checking our social media feeds or taking a long lunch break or binge watching our favorite show. It's strongly but in this case, since we don't have a clear idea of how we feel about the request, we're unable to take action and associate with meaning. If you're feeling bored, you might think that doing the dishes is going to be boring, so you'll put it off. Or if you're feeling stressed, you might think that sending that email is going to be stressful, so you'll put that off too. The good news is that we can learn to change the way we think about tasks by changing the way we feel. In his article, Dr. Pychyl gives the example of people who work in customer service. They have to deal with angry customers all day, so it's easy for them to start associating all interactions with negative emotions. But by taking a few deep breaths before interacting with someone and reminding themselves to be calm, they can change the way they feel and therefore change the way they think about interacting with customers. So next time you find yourself dreading a task that doesn't seem all that bad, take a step back and ask yourself, how do I feel about this and where do those feelings come from? Because chances are it's not the task itself that you're avoiding, but the emotions that you associate with it. That was a quick summary of